Now, the latest from Prairie du Sac, where divers still haven't found a missing father in the Wisconsin River. And what lawmakers and city officials are saying with ice raids expected to begin across the country tomorrow. Plus, why some women in Madison are choosing to support female 2020 presidential candidates.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining News 3 Now at 10. I'm Amanda Quintana. A 53-year-old father of 3 is missing tonight. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office said he was trying to save his children in the Wisconsin River and he didn't resurface. Amy Reed joins us now from where he went missing. Amy?
The Sauk County dive team was out here for most of the day, getting in the water before 10 in the morning and then searching the bottom of this river for any sign of this dad.
Wisconsin River is very dangerous and very unpredictable. There's a strong current. The river changes daily, sometimes throughout the day.
It's a warning we hear often, but feels the most true at a time like this. A family of 5, mom and dad and 3 kids under 11, out for a swim and fishing.
They wandered into the water a little bit too far. The parents went in to try to rescue them. The mother and 3 children were able to successfully go to shore. The father did not surface.
Alliant Energy lowered the dam level so the dive team could spend the day searching, staying in the water until 6 o'clock when their team was exhausted.
This is a dangerous spot because of the water rushing off of the dam. There's a lot of rocks underneath the water and even surface rocks, which causes a lot of undertow and a very strong current.
Families stayed waiting for news until the dive team went home. The sheriff's office told us other family and clergy stood with them. They'll likely be back Sunday when the search continues. Until then, the sheriff's office hopes people remember the warning.
It's very unpredictable. It's a very strong current that will take people away, and I don't think people will understand and respect that.
We've seen searches like this last until sundown, but this time the crew just ran out of divers and it was too late to bring anyone else up. So now they're getting some rest tonight and they'll start again tomorrow morning. Amanda?
All right, thank you so much, Amy. Let's turn it over to Dave Caulfield with your first alert forecast. It's getting later, but it's not really getting that much cooler outside.
Or much less humid, Amanda. That's the important thing. That humidity is sticking around as we head into next week. 90 degrees in Madison for the high today. Right now, those temperatures have fallen into the lower to middle 70s. Calm winds, a dew point at 63, so still a little bit muggy overnight across much of southern Wisconsin. Some other temperatures, 72 in Lone Rock, still 77 in Monroe and Mineral Point, Platteville as well, and 74 in Prairie du Chien. We could see those 70-degree dew points retreating to southwestern Wisconsin, but they'll be back with all of us, I think, as we head into our Sunday morning. And temperatures will dip into the mid-60s overnight with clear skies, partly sunny skies on the way for tomorrow, an outside chance of a shower and storm. But those temperatures back into the low 90s, could feel like the mid to upper 90s at times. We'll talk heat and humidity continuing for the foreseeable future in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. More local news now with 4 women currently campaigning for the 2020 presidency. Many are discussing the possibility of having a woman as America's president for the very first time. Today, some of those people met at Cargo Coffee for a conversation on women's leadership and empowerment. Leading the discussion were Jennifer Rosen-Hines, Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway, and Alder Arvina Martin. The group talked about holding a space for women in government. Alder Martin mentioned how being around strong women helped her in her life and career. And Mayor Rhodes-Conway says it's important to take people and their ideas seriously, especially for young women.
It's important that we see women in power. It's important that we see LGBTQ people in power. It's important that we see people of color in power, because that's who we are as a community, and that should be reflected in our leadership.
Outside Voice organized the event and sold merchandise at it. Items sold promoted socially liberal positions, including supporting Black Lives Matter and stricter gun laws. A 3-year-old girl is dead, shot after a possible road rage incident. It happened on Milwaukee's north side just after 8:30 this morning. Officers say the suspect shot at the car with a mother and her 4 young children inside after the 2 cars nearly collided. The suspect led officers on a chase but eventually lost control and crashed. He tried to run away but was eventually taken into custody. Milwaukee police are now shedding tears of outrage.
We have a 3-year-old dead. Every one of you should be just as angry and upset about this as I am.
Police say the other children in the car were ages 1, 2, and 4. They haven't released the identity of the little girl or the suspect yet. Last night, Madison was among hundreds of U.S. cities hosting a silent candlelight vigil protesting the Trump administration's immigration policies. But President Trump is still holding firm on his decision to start immigration raids tomorrow. The sweeps are expected to target about 2,000 people who a judge has already ordered to be deported. CBS News' Carter Evans has more.
I'm here because President Trump has said ICE will attack thousands of families separating children from parents.
Passionate protesters today in Chicago joined those in cities around the nation.
ICE has got to go!
Fighting back against planned deportation raids set to begin Sunday. In Oakland, California, Naomi Islas is worried her family could be targeted.
Maybe one day I'll go home and my parents aren't going to be there.
Throughout the country, undocumented immigrants like Gerson Quinteros are on edge.
I feel like scared every day. I don't know what to do, but I know that with my community, I'm in strength.
They came in illegally. They have to go out.
The president confirmed Friday ICE agents will be focusing on immigrants with removal orders in at least 10 cities.
They're going to take people out, and they're going to bring them back to their countries, or they're going to take criminals out, put them in prison, or put them in prison in the countries they came from.
While large-scale deportation actions are not uncommon, most don't receive this kind of publicity. And this one is getting pushback from cities with large immigration populations like San Francisco.
Everyone is guaranteed certain rights under the Constitution, whether they are in this country illegally or not.
In Los Angeles, Sheriff Alex Villanueva has advice for immigrant families.
Keep your doors shut and ask for a search warrant. And if they don't have it, well, then don't open the door.
Officials in Los Angeles estimate there could be close to 1 million undocumented immigrants in a single Los Angeles county alone. Local law enforcement there is refusing to help federal agents with any immigration arrests. Governor Tony Evers retweeted about a warning about the raids today. He said, quote, ICE raids will be taking place starting tomorrow from ACLU. Know your rights. No Wisconsin city is on the list of the 10 U.S. cities expecting ICE raids tomorrow, with the closest city being Chicago. The White House was on lockdown today after a suspicious package was found nearby. The Secret Service is lifting that lockdown at the White House. It happened Saturday after a suspicious package was found on a nearby sidewalk on Pennsylvania Avenue. Security officials closed the sidewalk and Lafayette Park. President Trump was reportedly not at the White House during the incident, but at the Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, Virginia. Jeffrey Epstein may have committed crimes in more places than investigators first thought. The billionaire was arrested last week, accused of sex trafficking. Epstein owns several expansive compounds, including one in Santa Fe. A spokesperson for New Mexico Attorney General Hector Balderas says his office is interviewing multiple people who visited that property. Those findings will be sent to federal authorities in New York, where Epstein has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking charges.
There are plenty of people that ran in his circles who have information, and that's one of the things. If you have information, you observed anything, you heard anything, come and let us know.
Epstein has not been charged with any crimes yet in New Mexico and was never registered as a sex offender in that state. The city that never sleeps has been pretty dark for much of the afternoon. Tens of thousands of people were without power in Manhattan tonight. Local utility company Con Edison says more than 42,000 customers were without power in New York, most of them in Midtown Manhattan and the Upper West Side. Mayor Bill de Blasio, who was campaigning for president in Iowa, says it appears the outage was the result of a mechanical problem in the electrical grid. The outages affected multiple subway lines, and officials advised people to stay away from underground stations. Still to come on News 3 Now at 10, taking a tractor ride, all to benefit a little boy's family. Welcome back. Bikers raced to the finish line today at the Fitchburg Festival of Speed, where the bikers sped through a closed loop course at Agora Pavilion. Recreational races also took place today, including a 25-mile bike ride this morning, a 5K run walk, and a kids fun run. For those in the main competitions, they biked on a 7/10 mile loop for 20 to 70 minutes, depending on the class they fell into, which ranged from a beginner 5 to a professional 1. The race finished off tonight with a celebratory concert and fireworks. The Madison Brain Tumor 5K returned this year bigger than ever. The charity run in Elford Park started 5 years ago with just 200 runners, and it raised about $20,000. But co-founder Hillary Pink Budworth says this year the 5K, started in memory of her dad who passed away from an aggressive brain tumor, had over 1,000 participants and raised over $60,000.
Amazing. We never thought it would. I mean, we were hoping, we wanted it to become, to this size and this magnitude, and it's been a very humbling and amazing experience.
Pink Budworth says she thinks the 5K has outgrown Elford Park on Madison's west side, and they're looking at other venue options for next year's event. A 9-day event that celebrates sailing is underway in Madison. The Commodore's Cup kicked off its second day of activities at the Memorial Union today. Teams consisting of sailing members and non-sailing members compete for points in a variety of races and competitions, with the winner getting their team and names inscribed on the mighty Commodore's Cup trophy. The event celebrates sailing and social aspects of the club.
It's also about getting to know your community members, the other people that are a part of the club, meeting new friends, people with shared interests and everything else that goes along it. It's just as much a social as it is a competition.
Each night features a different social event, starting with a themed dinner that the teams put on. The entire competition culminates with the Commodore's Ball, a formal dance held in the Great Hall in Memorial Union with a live band playing. And at the ball, the awards are handed out and the winners are announced. Live elephants stomped into Baraboo today for the uncovering of 2 twin baby elephant sculptures. The twins, named Noah and Nora, add to 2 already existing elephant sculptures that stand in Myron Park. Baraboo Mayor Mike Palm says the metal elephant sculptures are a way to add art to Baraboo free of taxpayer dollars. The elephant sculptures were made possible by the donation of Lucille Henry and were created by artist Larry Pearson. Pearson created twin Noah to hold onto sister Nora's tail as she pulls him behind the parent elephants to add a bit of fun to the sculptures.
I didn't want just 2 elephants walking, and they just needed something. I like a little bit of humor in the work, and it just needed to have its own little character.
Why did we pick an elephant? Well, because we're Baraboo, and it's a circus city. So absolutely, we wanted to have some elephants along our main thoroughfare.
1 more elephant will be shown along Baraboo's thoroughfare, which Palm anticipates will be ready by the end of this year. The new twins arrived just in time for next week's Baraboo Parade, which will host circus wagons and civic groups. The farmers market moved to Breeze-Stevens Field today as artists from across America flooded the Capitol for Art Fair on the Square. It has been one of the most popular events in Madison for more than 60 years, drawing an estimated 200,000 people each year. Most art forms are represented, including ceramics, fiber arts, photography, sculpture, and jewelry, as well as the traditional print and paint media. Art Fair off the Square is hosted downtown this weekend as well. If you missed either fair today, you can check them out again tomorrow from 10 to 5. Let's get a look at your first alert weather with Dave Caulfield. A lot of people out on the square, but it was a hot one today.
Yeah, temperatures hit 90 degrees in Madison, Amanda, and we actually saw a bunch of 90s across southern Wisconsin, like in Janesville, Mineral Point, Boscobel, and Prairie du Chien. And so this is day 1, sort of our stretch of 90-degree weather. I think tomorrow we could see another run at 90 degrees across much of southern Wisconsin. And for much of next week, we have alert days in the forecast starting tomorrow until next Sunday, with the hot and humid weather really just continuing on and on with no real signs of stopping. High temperatures will be in the lower to middle 90s for the foreseeable future. Heat index values will be anywhere from about 90 degrees when that humidity not too bad, but on certain days it could feel like the mid to upper triple digits, close to 110 degrees in some spots. Now, there is a slight chance of relief on Wednesday and Thursday, at least when it comes to our thermometer readings, because as moisture from Tropical Storm Barry gets a little bit closer to southern Wisconsin, we do have a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, but really not going to do all that much for the majority of us. So we're continuing to watch Barry as it continues to pound portions of southern Louisiana with rain and some strong winds still. I think winds of about 60 miles per hour in some spots. And again, that will continue to move north. That storm will over the next 3 to 5 days or so and could impact our weather as we get into the middle of next week. Right now, pretty quiet on Doppler track across southern Wisconsin. And I expect that to be the overall trend with some minor exceptions here and there. Temperatures are in the mid-70s in Madison right now and in Janesville, 73 in Watertown. Cooler near Lake Michigan after Milwaukee hit a high of 91 today, 77 in Monroe. And we're really painting the picture here of a consistent long stretch of 90-degree weather. In fact, today's high of 90 actually outperformed our forecast high. And I mentioned yesterday, if we don't see any storms, there's no stopping these temperatures really from reaching the low 90s. So tomorrow, a similar story. If we don't see the storms, which our latest forecast models are really not optimistic on those storms being anywhere close to widespread, I think we'll see the 90s once again, feeling like the mid-90s at times. If you are wondering, our longest stretch in Madison of 90-degree heat happened actually in 1901, so quite a bit ago. 15 straight days from July 13th to July 27th. So typically this is our hottest time of the year, but typically we don't see 10 straight days of 90-degree weather in Madison, at least not every year, that is. We're in the mid-60s overnight, becoming mostly clear and mild. As we head into tomorrow, 90 degrees, once again, hot and humid. Can't rule out a quick shower or thunderstorm, but as you can see on future track, really nothing widespread. A few blips on radar, maybe south and west of Madison, but nothing that we can consistently say, yes, we will definitely need the umbrella for tomorrow. As we head into Monday, I think any storms will stay north of southern Wisconsin, and we will be once again in the 90s. And it could feel like the triple digits over the next couple of days, especially as we head into Monday, with those highs getting a little bit closer to 93 degrees on Monday. We're in the low 90s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Again, if we do get a couple of showers and storms to form, then those temperatures may be a little bit cooler. But as we head into next weekend, we're in the mid-90s, feeling closer to 105 to 110 at times. So this is a serious and prolonged heat. We need to make sure to practice that heat safety over the next week to 2 weeks or so.
Yeah. A lot of days of those 90s.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dave. Get your coffee out. It is a long night for the Brewers. Highlights next in sports.
It's Well, as evidenced by last night's loss to the Giants, the Brewers are sending out a major SOS for pitchers. So today, the Crew getting right-hander Jay Jackson from AAA, optioning Mauricio Dubon there. We pick it up in the 8th in Game 2 today. We need a Hira, guys, and he'll deliver. Keston Hira there. Jesus Aguilar hustling on home. Brewers take the 3-2 lead. They had one more, but Jeremy Jeffress giving up 2 in the 9th. So bottom of the inning, 2 on for Ben Gamble. Goes deep to right field. Hallelujah. It falls fair. Let's all breathe. Brewers win 5-4. Game 3 tomorrow at 1:10. Pirates and Cubs in a nice little daytime affair at Wrigley. Big first inning for Chicago. 2 on runners on first and second for John Lester, lining one to the left field wall for a very long 2 RBI single. 6-0 Cubs. Later in the 4th, Addison Russell working the 2-out rally as well. Ball would eventually get away there on the throw, and no one could really find it. So 2 runs come home. Russell is on third, and the Cubs win big, 10-4, the final score. The Packers start training camp in less than 2 weeks, but until then, the players, including Aaron Rodgers, have some time to kill. Beautiful Lake Tahoe, California is where he's at. Celebs hoping that the golf they play there in their free time pays off. Rodgers throwing some footballs into the crowd before his round alongside Steph Curry there. Check him out on hole 13. Look at this beautiful approach. Not too shabby, 12, not too shabby. He's tied for 22nd place, though. 3 birdies for him today. Meanwhile, Burlington, Wisconsin native Tony Romo, he's got some more free time on his hands lately on 10 here. Seriously, these guys are just as talented out on the links as they are on the gridiron. Romo is your leader after round 2, shooting 6 birdies today. Steve Stricker at the Senior Players in Akron, Ohio. He was tied for first at one point today, but running into some trouble on 8, trying to get out of the trees there. He would end up bogeying that hole, but still tied for first. And then later on 9, parring this one here. 4 bogeys for Stricker today and 1 birdie. That was on the back 9, and he shot a 73 today, now in a 3-way tie for third. But he still got a chance, only 2 strokes behind the leader, but definitely a little more crowded at the top going into tomorrow's round 4. Well, this was the scene last night at Angels Stadium, the team playing in its first home game since pitcher Tyler Skaggs was found dead in his hotel room in Texas. Angels pitchers Taylor Cole and Felix Pena throwing a combined no-hitter, 13-0 over the Mariners. Players all wore jerseys with the number 45, that was Skaggs' number, laying them on the mound after the win. He would have been 28 years old today. Over in England, Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton checking out the women's singles final at Wimbledon between Simona Halep and Serena Williams. Serena trying to tie the Grand Slam singles record of 24, but Halep locked in, loaded, and on point today, taking the match in straight sets, 6-2, 6-2 for her very first title at the All England Club. The match only took 56 minutes, and afterwards, Serena gracious in defeat, giving some major props to Halep, saying, quote, she played out of her mind. Speaking of Serena Williams, a British-based research and data firm did a worldwide survey asking the question, if you were playing your very best tennis, do you think you could win 1 point off of Serena Williams? Well, 1 in every 8 men said yes, compared to 1 in 33 women. So did a little digging for some smart sports because we need the facts, people. In 2015, the average speed of a serve from Serena Williams, 126 miles per hour. Just imagine how fast you're already driving when you're driving on the Beltline, 65-70, up that 2 times. And then just for fun, her fastest serve was just a smidge faster than that, 128 miles per hour. That was at the Australian Open in 2013. Well, back out finally tonight at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. Warriors stud Steph Curry having some trouble with his shot in the rough. Ends up hitting a tent full of human beings, but hey, that's okay. Steph takes the shot anyways out of the tent, and it actually made it on to the fringe of the green. What a shot. Pretty impressive stuff. We'll be right back.
Look at that. Somebody should give him a drink.
The annual Utica Antique Tractor Ride is giving $3,900 to the family of Colton Jones, the toddler who needed emergency neurological surgery after getting hit by a baseball going 80 miles an hour earlier this year. The organizers put on this fundraiser every year as a way to give back to a local family in need. This community donation will help Colton's family pay medical bills.
I am kind of at a loss for words about it because it's just been everybody's been so wonderful, and you know, it has helped us through a pretty big nightmare.
Community members pay to ride in wagons for the 30-mile ride, which goes down country roads through neighboring towns. Participants say it's a great way to spend their Saturday. It was a hot Saturday.
Yeah.
It was a very hot Saturday out there.
For a tractor ride or really just being in any air conditioning, it was tough. And it will be tough over the next 7 to 10 days. Lots of alert days, lots of 90s on the way.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.